Hello all, welcome back to Gelvin Valley. Lovely map created by Wild Wes for Farming Simulator 15. It's not very often we've started by the back door. We're doing it here. Yeah, there we got our long johns and undies hanging out for the whole world to see. Let's head out to the field and get to farming. Oh yeah, I seem to recall... Boy, what a mess. All these... There's got to be a way to turn those signs off. You know what? Sorry. Let me see. Can I show... There. None. Of course, now we won't see any of them, but... Oh, well. Anyways, I was saying, I think we have finished harvesting over here. I believe I finished the episode, and then the next thing I did was to fill up with fuel, everything that we have. So now I believe it's time to take our equipment to the next field. So, you know, something I don't often use is Follow Me. So I know I'm pretty sure I have it installed, so why not give it a use? Alright, Control F. There we go. I think he's stuck on. Let me get this guy going and we'll just have ourselves some Follow the Leader. Looks like we have about 1,000 liters of fuel left. And get up around here. Oh, you know what I'm seeing? You gotta turn it off in every vehicle. Every blasted one of them. Start and end. Show none. Alright, anyways. Let me get this guy stuck on. Can I do that here? Alright. Now, we'll leave this one here because we got a whole bunch of work for ourselves to do in this particular field. And let me go back to our combine, who's going to lead the way. Now, in later versions, you could do like we just did, turn on our indicator lights. We could turn on our beacon, which we just... Oh, okay, the beacons will work. Yeah. And, okay, very good. Farm Sim 15 does that too. Here we go, tally ho. Following the leader. Except it's going to be a booger, as I think, on an owl, just to get out of here, because we're carrying... Well, maybe we have the collisions off. I don't recall. I know I fussed with the collisions down here. They should be off. Was it this side? It's that. It's the other side. Maybe, please. Yes. Oh, for pity's sakes. What do I gotta do? Take a run at it? Oh no. Arrgh. Well, is it gonna let me out? You know? Oh my goodness. Oh, this is pitiful driving. And here I have... Alright, so... Folks, we are gonna temporarily take that off. Yeah, beep, beep, beep. It's probably the machine cussing at me, trying to get off of here. Oh, forevermore. Do I have to reset? This is not how I wanted to start this particular episode. Alright, so we're going to go back to here. We're going to turn that off. We're going to go up here. Can I politely just bump the combine off? Yeah. Power through it, bud. There we go. There we go. Alright. Well, for better or worse, get on off in there. Yeah, you know, I think it's time for me to invest in a header trailer. It obviously isn't working with a case, but I thought I had taken care of those silly collisions. Alright, so now back to here. Let's set up our follow. Now, let's see, we'll come up here. We'll get him going. Oh, this is so embarrassing. But you know what? You've seen it all. You've seen it all, and I know I'm not the only one that can't drive. Alright. Forward. Let me turn on beacons. Just put on my glasses so I can see the controls better. Alright, here we go. Down the road we go. Oh, car coming, but I think we can drive through the cars. Yeah, we are driving through the cars. Down the road. I still am just enamored with this map. The colors are just wonderful. And the setup of it is just lovely. I mean, it's, you know, here's the sheep area up here. But just with the back roads, the twists and turns, there isn't a single square corner in this entire map. Not that I can find anyhow. But anyway, we got, let me see, where are we headed? Alright, you know, in a previous, I can't remember if I commented on this, there was several fields that once again appeared in my ownership rolls, including 39 and 40 and 26, 17 and 20. Maybe some others I don't recall. Oh, dang it. You know, here's another one. All I'm doing is bunging up my equipment. Yeah, see, the thing of it is, if I come in the editor and I widen this thing, it won't work then with the grate here, you know, to keep the animals in. Disc. I need a header trailer. There's just no two ways about it. Anywho, as I was saying, I got rid of those other fields. I don't know how I got ownership of them again, but since I removed them off cam, kind of out of the XML file, so everything's kind of back to the way it was. I see not every field has a nice wide entrance like that. Sure wish they did. But we still own field 32 over here. It's another hilly field. We'll get to the entrance down here. There's one kind of up top, but I'm tired of small entrances, so we're going to take the large entrance. Shoot, I almost missed the entrance. Speaking of, let me... Oh, Control F. Hey, you're done, pal. And you are done. Do you all use Follow Me? It's a really cool mod. I don't know that I've used it that often in here, and you can see what kind of a disaster I made for myself. No fault of the mod, of course, just my ineptitude at driving, really. Actually, let's see, where should I park the... Let me turn you off. I'm gonna just move this down. I had that parked kind of right alongside the edge of the road last time. Gotta be careful don't get in the ditch over here. Maybe it was here. I just don't remember. Yeah, that's probably off the road enough. Kinda, sorta. Alright, you're gonna stay put there. Back to the combine that I've now damaged in several areas. I almost wonder if I need to sell this thing and I just rent the whole kit and caboodle new every year. I gotta drive the thing up there to go pick up the header anyhow. So, yeah. Alright, let's come up here, dip into the old barley. hire yourself. Off you go. Alright. Oh, and he's almost full. My goodness. Now, I think from this particular field, shift, oops, 5 and 4. Let me see here. This is field 32. Surely I have a combi to storage. Yeah, that's never gonna work. Yeah. I'll make a fool of myself yet one more time. Let's see, start and end. Is that the waypoints? This is field 32. Yes, the combine's turning around. Oh, there it is up here. I think this is incoming. Yeah. So, let me load 32, combi to storage. Yeah, that's the one I want. I want to find combine. I want the New Holland. Drive. Yes. And it's probably, yeah, it's going to head up there just because it's already getting full. But I don't, it's going to have a ridiculous time kind of. This field does kind of have an edge, but as you can see, it is quite steep in here. So, come on, little guy. Oh, okay, he's going to stop. Maybe this will work. Except, you know, he's probably going to look for a fence as soon as he gets done offloading. So, another steep field in here. And we got the right combine to help us do it. That still bugs me. I wish this particle animation reached all the way down. But it doesn't. Alright, now can you just stay put? There's no need to move. Yeah, combine's telling me to stop. Good idea. Alright. So let's go back over here. I think I did one time around. Let me do one more. And we'll try to get this thing all whipped into shape. As most of you know, this particular series I've kind of treated as what my good friend Eustace Farmer back in the day would have called chewing to fat, and share whatever silly thing is on my mind at the moment. And now that we got the harvest going, try to keep tabs on my combine here. Had a little bit of scare this past week in family, I guess mainly for me. Get over here. I am not a medical type person. It's kind of like a blind spot, and I know I'm not the only person that has a blind spot, you know, when it comes to medical things. But I know back when my wife and I were having children, you know, of course I went with her to her appointments. I was present when our little ones were born. You know, that was a wonderful experience, you know, that I'll remember forever. But the medical terminology and things just sails right over my head. And, you know, maybe I've shared in here a few times some of the medical stressors we've had. And you know what? At some point, every single one of us is going to face something. You know, we all, at the very least, we have the maintenance we got to do, going to visit the doctor at some level of frequency, having our teeth taken care of or whatever. We all got that kind of thing going on. Most of us, you know, if we end up getting married, we're going to have children, so we got that to deal with. And at the very least, we all have the Grim Reaper facing us, you know, at some point in our life. And whether, you know, if you're married, you know, one harsh reality you never face, you know, at the altar at the beginning, you know, when you pledge your undying affection to the one you love, is you never think that at some point either I or this other person that I'm getting involved with here is going to die. You know, we say till death do us part, and those are sweet words, and maybe people mean them, maybe they don't. But we never think really about the death part. Or at least I don't. Oops. Okay, I think you're trying to help. Probably not doing a very good job of it. Let's let him get turned around. Oh, for goodness sake, Combine. What are you? No, 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 no. Don't you dare go over the fence. Get back. Oh, that was so close. So close. How many times has that happened before? Phew. Oh my goodness, that was close. All right. No, no, I'm not going to hire you right here, pal. I'm going to turn it on. Let me cut a strip here. I'm going to pull rank and take care of this corner. Wow, that was close. How many times have I stuck that silly header through the fence and then it's stuck? Not this time. But this past week, as you might have guessed, had a little bit of a scare, although it's kind of a silent scare. It's one of those things where, you know, you kind of come face to face a little with your mortality, if you will. Are you gonna stop? Don't ram in the thing, poor guy. All right, let's collect whatever else is left. I'm just gonna have to do it for him. So my driver's an idiot. $8,500. All right, so next we're gonna cancel Combine assignment. We're gonna drive the course. We're gonna tell him to drive now. Get on out of here, and hopefully, let's see, will he get his butt out the gate without causing trouble? He's kind of going at the right angle. He's probably gonna clip the edge of the. No, don't go over there. Why in the world would you head for the fence? Why? Just silly. No, you don't need to do that. Yeah, how about you come over here? There you go. There you go. Are you gonna... Oh. All right, so we need to move our fuel. This is just quite ridiculous. Just ridiculous. You know, because we have such a good relationship with our neighbor over here, he lets us park in his field. So I'm gonna just take it on over here. One of these days, we are gonna buy this field from our neighbor, because he obviously doesn't do a very good job as a farmer. His fields are always devoid of foliage. Anyways. Trying to get back to my story. Alright. Here we go. We'll continue here. Anyways, suffice it to say, I think I was talking about having babies, medical things. It's something off my radar. My wife is a nurse, and so she takes care of all that stuff. She's just far more adept at it. So anytime our kids had so much as the sniffles, she was the one, you know, coordinating with the doctor and figuring all that stuff out, because, you know, she's kind of in the business, as you might say. And I just let her. I'll take care of other things where I have actual skills. One of the things she experienced back, you know, when we were having children, is high blood pressure. And I think for at least one of them, they put her on bed rest. And let's see, how should I do this? How should I do it? I think I want to do it over here, maybe, kind of, sort of. Get a long row. Except, how's this gonna work? Alright, let me try that. I'm gonna turn my tractor off by accident. I think that'll do. Alright, let me get her hooked up and off to races. We have 4 children, and like I say, in all of them, she was experiencing some high blood pressure. And, like I say, I so lack in medical knowledge that I don't totally understand the seriousness of blood pressure issues. I remember, we were having children, she had to go on bed rest, and intellectually, that's kind of where I left it. Well, the doctor said she needs to rest. I know that happens, with some other women, when they have children. So we adapted and moved on, and also, as a consequence of having high blood pressure, we had all but one of our children came when my wife was induced. Induced means you start the birthing process through use of a medicine or some kind of a drug. I don't remember what it was called, versus, letting it just happen naturally. It's 9 months is, of course, a typical period of time a little one's in there getting formed, and most of them will knock on the door themselves, when they're ready to come out. I'm being kind of facetious here. But for my wife, I know when her blood pressure, she had some issues, we just took her to the hospital. She was induced, and, frankly, it was kind of nice in terms of planning. Anybody that's a parent that's listening to this, you've heard stories, or maybe you've experienced it yourself, when all of a sudden, your wife says it's time, and you might be in the middle of something else, and might be in the middle of work, and all of a sudden you gotta drop everything, to go have a baby. Not so with us. We at least were able to plan when we could go to the hospital for, the induction to take place, and when it would come. But the point is it was all because of high blood pressure. And, that was when we were young. And now both my wife and I were knocking on the door of 50, and in terms of our ages. And so, the good old human body is an amazing machine that God made, but the parts start to wear out over time, and things change in its chemistry or whatever in there, and I don't know how all that works, but all I know is last week, my wife goes to the dentist, kind of for just a routine teeth cleaning checkup, that kind of thing, and so she goes in there, and I'd forgotten. I guess it's been a little while since I've had my teeth worked on. But the first thing they do is they take your blood pressure. And so they take it for her, and it was some crazy reading. I mean, we're talking like 220 something over, oh gosh, what was the low number? It was 100 something. I don't even remember the details. Well, so the tech, kind of wondered if they did it wrong, made a mistake or whatever, and maybe they always do this. Took it again, and actually took it several times, thinking there was just something wrong, because, my wife is otherwise very healthy looking, she's not sick or even really overweight or that kind of thing. I mean, she's a healthy looking woman, so I'm sure it probably was kind of confusing to the tech, wondering how this otherwise healthy looking person, could be having high blood pressure. It seems our tractor going where it's supposed to go. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. But finally, had to tell her, hey, we can't clean your teeth, your blood pressure's too high. In fact, we strongly recommend you go to your doctor immediately after leaving here. So my wife was just kind of surprised. I remember I was at work, she gave me a call, told me what happened. It's like, well, that's kind of interesting. We didn't really know what might be causing it or whatever, so she goes to the doctor, and her doctor then says, you need to immediately go, this is so high, you shouldn't be here, I'm going to send you to the emergency room at the hospital. And we're like, what the world? So the doctor, she wouldn't even let her drive her car to the emergency room. Fortunately, the doctor, was within short walking distance of the hospital. And I mean, think about that. I mean, there's a number of things here that upset me a little bit about how all this happened. But doesn't exercise raise your blood pressure? I mean, if she was so in need of the emergency room, why would the doctor refuse to let her drive and say, you gotta walk over here? Granted, it wasn't far. It was maybe, was it be a quarter mile? Maybe hardly a quarter mile, almost. So we're not talking very far at all. But still, you tell someone they gotta go to the emergency room, that can immediately, bring about some amount of anxiety, worry, and then on top of that, you tell them to exercise, you won't let them drive, to go over there. So that was her doctor, that said that. And so at some point in there, my wife sends me a text and tells me, that she's now in the emergency room. You know what? I better... Oh, good lad. Look at that. Good job. At some point, and when I learn she's over there, I leave work immediately. And of course, when you leave and you're in a hurry because I want to get there to be with her, every slow driver in the world comes out of the woodwork and is just stalling me on the road. I don't mind. I usually try to consider myself a fairly patient driver, and usually I stick pretty close to the speed limit. My wife and kids, I think, are far more aggressive as drivers than I am. I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of conservative that way. But here, when I would have pushed it a little bit, people were driving under the speed limit, taking their sweet time, and anyways. So my blood pressure was probably rising substantially just on the drive over there. So I got there, kind of half expecting to see her laid out or whatever, and that isn't what I found there. There's my beautiful wife there, just kind of sitting in wherever they told her to. They gave her a room, and just sitting there, looking perfectly healthy and normal like always. They took her blood pressure, and yeah, it was very high. A doctor came in, and in short, I mean, he had reasons, but I can't articulate the reasons. He did nothing for her. Acknowledged it was high, but said because you're not exhibiting some of these other symptoms, and he rattled off a few things, like a massive headache or heart pains in your heart, chest pains or whatever, and there were some other things too. I don't recall. But because she wasn't exhibiting all those things, he told her, leave here, go home, I'm not going to do anything. You need to go back to your doctor and figure out why you have high blood pressure and start a treatment program. Now, like I say, my wife's a nurse, and, she was commenting later, she said, if that would have been our kids, she said, I would have never stood for that. I would have, advocated for them. Surely there's something you can do to bring their blood pressure down or whatever. But I guess because it was, just herself, she didn't think to do that, and I guess she knows I'm an ignoramus when it comes to healthcare matters. So I didn't know what to say. It's only as I was thinking on this later, that I was a little upset at it, and I'm not greatly upset. These doctors, they're all human too. I get that. Let's see here. Better go check out what is... Oh, yes. This... Hold on. Oh, there we go. And you've got to learn, bud, you can't go through the fence. And of course, if I turn him loose, he's going to do the same doggone thing he did last time. Right now. Yeah, look at him. See? He's already taken the wrong... Let me just help him out. I think what I need to do is start the course earlier in the... Oh, can you do this? There you go. There you go. Good lad. Alright, we're lined back up. Oh, yeah, got the brake on. That would help to turn that off. Here we go. So like I say, I realize doctors are human, and they are entitled to mistakes just like the rest of us. But as I think back on this, what I'm a little disappointed over is that my wife's own doctor sent her over there, but evidently didn't communicate with the hospital to say what she wanted done. At least not that I'm aware of. Or nor did her doctor tell the hospital, hey, here's what's coming, the case is coming, here's what I want you to do, with this patient I'm sending over. Nothing. Because I don't know how much the healthcare system communicates. Maybe it's better in your country than it is here. A lot of times these people do amazing work. I mean, like I say, my wife's a nurse. She has more heart than any other person I think I've ever met. My daughter's a nurse too. She's in the field, and to see what these people deal with every day when it comes to healthcare matters, I mean, it's just amazing what they're able to do. But I do wonder sometimes at the communication that they have, or the lack thereof, and some improvements maybe that could be made. So I do blame in part my wife's doctor for not sending along instructions or calling the hospital and saying, here's what's going on, here's how you can help me, and then the other doctor sending her home with extremely high blood pressure. I can't even tell you what the normal range is, but I'm pretty sure, I know it's 2 numbers. I'm pretty sure the top number, maybe to get to normal range, needs to be down around 120-ish, and that's where my wife's lower number was. Hers was over 200. To do absolutely nothing. It's sort of like if you're a firefighter called out to a house that's burning down, and you tell the homeowner, I'm not going to put the fire out. What you need to do right now, before I can touch the fire, is figure out what started it. I mean, the homeowner would be like, what? That'd be just ridiculous. But that's kind of how it feels, just this experience we just went through. So I know the bell just went, so I maybe have shared way too many details. Suffice it to say, my wife did go back to her doctor. They started working on some things. I imagine there's going to be some more tests coming. She put my wife on some medications, to help with the blood pressure. So hopefully we have things somewhat under control. And my wife, she got a machine to help measure it at home. So we're trying to get it all back down to normal. And I know some of you who watched this have shared some supporting comments to me, either in the comments here on this or other YouTube videos, or even called for prayers for us. And thank you so much for that. That means a lot to me. And as a Christian, I try to leave these things in God's hands. We can only do certain things here, but my personal belief is He, that is God, He decides the bounds over life, when we come to being, when we're going to exit the planet. So I try to leave those things in His hands and not worry about them. But I really appreciate the kind remarks some of you have made to me here and on Discord groups or in whatever. So anyhow, for what it's worth, this is kind of what we've been dealing with here, and like I say, it adds just a little extra stress. What would we do without stress? So thank you so much for watching another episode here on good old Gelvin Valley as we continue to bring our crop in. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.